for Retro Sake here. Today, we are going to play Tiger-Heli. Or as I said whenever I was a kid, Tiger-Heli. I'm sorry, but it was one of the few times as a kid that I got to say the word hell and nobody gave me it for saying it. So I might have been saying it incorrectly, but no one was going to convince me otherwise. Big shout out to Captain Lego Man for making that intro screen before we start everything up. Thank you, Captain Lego Man, for all that you do for the stream. If you have never played Tiger-Heli before, one thing that you don't realize is that this was an arcade game that opened up an entire platform of top-down shooters from the time it was made up until the same top-down shooters that we play, like Caladrius Blaze, like Ghost Blade, I think is what it was called, HD, Ghost Blaze maybe, and Caladrius Blaze. So all of these games spawn off of a style of Tiger-Heli. Now, Tiger-Heli has some sequels to it. Tiger-Heli has some break-off names from it. We're going to jump into the game and we're going to try to have some fun here. Try to enjoy ourselves and play through some levels. From what I am to understand, this is a 4-level game. We'll give it some sound here. But I don't know a time here at For Retro's Sake that I've ever got through all 4 of these levels unscathed. So hopefully we do better right off the bat. Trying to get shot there, just about went right into it. Right off the bat, so you know, your P shooter option is B, and then A is your bomb. That is one thing that if I was going to complain about the game setup and the controls, is that since when is B not the bomb? Like, B is almost always the bomb in any game that I've ever played on the NES, but not this one. You got a couple of options with this guy. You can wait him out and just let him go back down south, or you can try to drop a bomb on him and waste it, but it is a waste. I mean, you only get 2 bombs to start off with, and if you go and waste it back there, further on in the level, you're going to realize you should have saved that bomb. Now, Tiger-Heli, boom. Tiger-Heli was first released in 1985 on arcade. After that, it wasn't released on the NES until September of 1987. By that time, most kids have the opportunity to get to one of the arcade areas in their town and play this game. And one of the things that is well known for Tiger-Heli is that this is one of the very few arcade ports that plays and looks almost exactly like the way that it was intended. So a lot of people far and wide that have played an NES would say Tiger-Heli was a game that they played as a child. They might have played it at an arcade place. They might have known a cousin that had it, a family member that owned it. I can say that Tiger-Heli was a blast to me as a kid, just simply based on the top-down shooter. This might have been one of the very first top-down shooters that I ever was able to play. You collect the mini helis, and at the end, you'll get extra points for have had those mini helis at the end. And I'm sure I'm catching a little bit of heli for saying it that way. Where some people are like, dude, it's Heli. Like, it's always been Heli. You know what? Why don't you come on over here to 4Retro's place and tell them how to say it? I'll be happy to have you over. And we'll play some Tiger-Heli together. There's going to be tanks, battleships, and other artillery that you come across in all of the levels. One of the most notable things about Tiger-Heli is that there are no flying enemies at all, where almost all of these games have some type of flying enemy. Now, at one point, you will have a couple of airplanes that take off, but they don't actually shoot any weaponry. So, I went right into that bullet. So that's one of those things that is totally different when it comes to Tiger-Heli and any of its predecessors, anything that has followed it. And probably one of the greatest things about the game, because you're pretty much just fighting stationary bullets. So you get hit, you pretty much went into the bullet. It's a big old blame yourself style game. Now, from what I'm to understand, that is an upgrade for the weapon, but I also don't know that for a fact. I don't know what shot me and what hit me there, but that's all right. We've obviously got some more lives. Something definitely hit me there, because whatever hit me took away my bomb. And that's one thing that you'll notice in the game, is that once you get hit and you have extra bombs on you, those bombs are gone. So we've made it through one. We're gonna try it again. We got to World 2, Level 2. Let's see if after one go around, we can do this just a little better. Now, if it was any other situation, I would probably be playing this game on an NES Advantage. For some of you that don't know what an NES Advantage is, it's a big Joy-Con pad, kind of like a fight stick. And you can turn on a turbo button, so you don't have to keep continuously pressing B over and over again. What a great advantage you could have with the NES Advantage. Today, we are just playing this on a regular old D-pad controller. And this is straight off of the original NES system. All of the games played here at 4Retro Sync are original NES games on an original NES. Some of them might be unlicensed, but they're okay in 4Retro Sync's eyes. Try not to get blasted here by these guys. Now, I haven't seen the additional heli yet that I would so like to collect. If you are new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Like any video that you enjoy watching. As the Pig Roach likes to say, the more likes I get, the more exposure I get. So we appreciate the exposure. As you can see, we made the glasses goal early on today. We made the hat goal without a problem. And then you guys were so generous, we made the kimono goal as well. Look at you guys go. I mean, could we have a better group of fans than what we have here at 4Retro Sync? I think not. I don't think there's another group that holds a candle to the For Retro's Sake group. So we appreciate you coming along and enjoying this NES ride. A literal blast from the past. I believe, without trying to jinx myself, that this is the longest I've carried the second Heli. I don't think I've ever finished a level of recent with the other one with me, so that's pretty cool. I got my little baby helicopter. And one little Heli. How nice. So like I said before, you start with a standard shot and 2 bombs. Some of the items that you can see on the screen that I pick up are crosses, and then the letter B, which I don't actually have the manual out in front of me, but I'm gonna guess that that's secondary bombs. Went and blew up there. I love that the fact that the bombs blow up anything remotely in sight, but it is also a demise of mine at times, because I'll drop that bomb just a little too soon, and the next thing you know, the one tiny little power boat back there comes cruising up and blasts you away. We're not doing so hot so far. Hopefully that changes. We didn't own Tiger-Heli whenever I was a kid at home, but I did have some family that owned this game, so we would get to play it when we visited, and boy, did I play it when we visited. Like, well, I must have got hit because my little Heli's gone already. R.I.P. little Heli. I'm trying to get across the screen to get that guy. Alright, we got another little Heli back. Let's see if we can't make it past this level. The composer for this in Nintendo stated, and I know that I would butcher his name, so I'm not even going to try it. But he stated that he wanted the music to sound like bravery and an act of courage. I think he did a pretty good job of that, don't you? Not too sure what we did there, but it sounded good. Oh yeah, let's get us another Heli. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now I kind of wish that the range was just a little further for these guys. I'm not complaining. I'm still enjoying myself. I must have lost one of them. Oh yeah, I saw that one across the screen. That guy's that's a setup. So I lost a bomb for that. And I have no bombs left. And we're about to be coming up to the boss, I believe. That was risky, but I wasn't given the chance for him to come up and get me again. All right. Well, we made it to our Heli pad. One little Heli. One of the things that I love the most about this game is that it has checkpoints. So as you've seen, when I die, I don't have to start the entire level all over again. I have the opportunity to start from a certain checkpoint that the game has decided to put me at. That would be the flying planes that I was speaking of earlier. They don't actually have any weapons, but they are flying. Game is going glitchy on me. Always one of my worst fears is that the game is going to completely glitch out further on into the game. I mean, we all understand that Nintendo glitches out and it happens. But man, we so don't want it to happen while we're super far in a game and have to start everything all over again. And right now, the game is giving it all it's got for me. If you're watching, if you could just write down in the chat if the volume of the game is sounding good, I would appreciate that. I don't want to go playing the entirety of the game and nobody can actually hear what's going on. I do try my best to have a little chatting while playing the games. It isn't the easiest task, especially with some of the games that I play, but I always give it a real try. Oh, wow. Kaboom. We can get this. Well, it definitely looks like we're going to have to start it all over again. That's the only time where you do have to go back to the very, very beginning. One of the cooler parts about the game is that it does get harder. There is no difficulty setting. It's beat the entirety of the game, and they will give you a harder setting. How is that harder setting? Well, what they do is, when you start over, you literally are put through the same course again, but they're just harder. Their bullets come more frequently, with a little faster trajectory. And I can only imagine just getting through this game, let alone having it that much harder. So the company that made Tiger-Heli for the arcade was Taito, but yet when it came to North America, Acclaim developed and produced this. So there is enough said just for the simple fact that separate companies actually produced this game, and you still got a quality game from multiple different companies. And it's well renowned for looking exactly the same, if not very, very close to the same as the arcade version whenever it came out first. And for all of us NES fans, we all know how often that is not the case. That typically you play the game like bad dudes on the arcade, and then you got the game, and you got this okay version of it. Bad Dudes is still fun, but it's not like Bad Dudes on the arcade. If I didn't mention before, we did make the kimono goal. Big ups to all of you for RetroSick fans out there. You are what drives me to do this on a day-to-day basis at times. And I thank you for your mass support, in your likes, and of course when you tip. I mean, that's what really keeps the business going, let's be honest. You killed my little Healy! Right at the end! What kind of tank does that? What kind of tank just takes your Healy away like that? It's horrendous. if I had a better memory, I would know exactly where those first enemies are coming up, and I would eradicate that. Just take care of business. And instead, I'm not remembering very well. So you see me just boom, 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 shooting, 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 because I don't know where I'm trying to shoot at. Well, somebody got me, taking my bomb away like that. And I apologize that the game just keeps doing this weird glitch right now. I use my 1-up cards to clean them quite often. And this particular time, it just didn't work out so well. Because I didn't own Tiger-Heli, I had to pick it up off of eBay. I would say roughly maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe. And speaking of eBay, there is a store that I purchased some of my newer games for, like my Nintendo Switch and such, named Loved in 2010. Loved with the letter N, 2010. If you have the opportunity and you're looking for variety of games, they are the store to check out. They have a 100% rating. They are a trusted eBay seller, and I would recommend them here at For Retro's Sake. I purchased Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, the first one, off of them. And I asked them simply if they would check my channel out, and if they enjoyed it, would they subscribe, and that I would give them a little shout out because of how fast, how courteous, how pleasureful it was to do business with them. So, if I was to give a shout out to an eBay company right now, Love, the letter N, 2010. Go check them out. Tell them that For Retro's Sake sent you. They will treat you right, I promise. They're a good company, and I'm glad that I was able to find them. In particular, I'm hoping that whenever I miss certain limited run games that I want, that they're able to help me out with that too, given that that particular game was a limited run game. Hello, Deshaun Crew. How you doing? Glad to have you here. I'm so glad to have you here. I've been rattling on about Tiger-Heli. I pointed out the fact that I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, but whenever I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to curse ever, and that was the closest thing I could get to saying the word hell. So I always said heli. But I wanted to drop in here and play this for a little while because this is one of those games that is very classic to me. It's a very well-known arcade game and NES game. But for the most part, us oldies, we know this more for being at the arcade than we do really on the NES. NES was just our first real chance to get to play it at home. But man, if you got to play this at the arcade joint, this was so much fun. And I also apologize because the game seems to keep glitching on me here. But that's just NES, and you just got to get over that. That's just sometimes what you get. If I had a complaint about the screen, how far you can go over, look at this. This is as far as I can go over. That's as far. But yet, there's like what? Another inch or two of screenplay over there that you want to go over further, and you just can't. Like, it ain't gonna have it. It said no thanks for Retro's sake. And if you didn't get to catch my Caladrius Blaze or my Ghost Blade playthrough, those are newer Nintendo Switch versions of what Tiger-Heli laid the groundwork for in all of these newer age games. Tiger-Heli also has a sequel to it named Twin Cobra. And then they went and made another one named Twin Cobra 2. I don't particularly own Twin Cobra 2 that I know of. I know, man, I just went right into the blaze, like just getting lit up. I know that I own Twin Cobra, but I don't know that I own Twin Cobra 2. So that would be interesting to play that after this at some point. Maybe not today, but at some point, just to get an idea of what they changed. Because as I mentioned before, one of the major differences in this game compared to most top-down shooters is that there's no flying enemies. So the one scene that you just saw there a minute ago has airplanes that move, but they don't actually fire at all. So they're not really considered an enemy because all they really do is come right at you. I mean, I guess if you're not shooting, then they could blow you up, and that would be considered an enemy. But at the same time, I mean, your weaponry is unlimited, so why aren't you shooting? Like you have the option to just keep on shooting. You might as well go ahead and do it. Yeah, I have a bad habit of being right in the line of fire, Deshaun Crew. Like, I've been playing a little too much of the Nintendo Switch versions of these top-down shooters, and I'm a little out of practice for this. Whenever I was looking through my cases, because I keep all of my NES games in a plastic protector, and then I also have them in plastic totes as well. Most of the reason for that is I don't want any kind of moisture getting to the games or anything. But whenever I was looking through my plastic totes, for some reason today, Tiger-Heli just stuck out, like begging to be played. And I thought, I don't know why I haven't played this yet, because I really do like this game. Like, this is one of my favorite games whenever I was a kid, but I only went to the arcade. I'd be a liar if I gave an actual number. We'll just say less than a dozen. I know that. I went to the arcade less than a dozen times, and every time that I went, it was with one of my cousins who were older and could drive. And there was also a movie theater that was behind the arcade. And typically he was going because he wanted to watch a movie, not because he wanted to play at the arcade. And man, I would have spent all of my time in that arcade, given that I had enough money to do so. One thing that I can say is, even though this is hard, I mean, because it is, I seem to be able to talk just a little bit more while playing this game than Caladrius Blaze and Ghostblade HD, because there was so much more going on the screen with those particular games. Don't get me wrong, they're great games, but some of it is just fluff. Like, they just add stuff to the background just enough to screw with you. And I see why they do it. Like I said, don't get me wrong, it's great gameplay, and I can't develop no games. So I have a real hard time telling people, oh, you didn't develop a good game, whenever I don't even know how half this stuff really truly works. I know how to clean the pins on my parts. I know how to tear apart the NES and put it back together. But beyond that, if you gave me all of the parts and told me make this work, that wouldn't have been me. Like, that's not my job. JG Winnell says that he likes the attention that they gave, that they put like a shadow on the water for the helicopter. And I gotta say, that was probably one of the #1 things noticed from people when playing this game was, #1, ooh, I thought for sure I was a dead man, but I was, just not at that time. One of the things that people noticed the most, not just that shadow, but that they made the actual propeller go around. And that was something that was just kind of surprising to see on the NES, that they gave that kind of detail to it. Now, minus the fact that my personal version here keeps kind of like flash glitching. I don't even know what to call it. I think that shadow really does add an extra layer of detail to the game that's surprising to see on an NES. I tried. Dude, I don't know why I keep going down there. I'm just trying to get shot. Fire from behind! Welcome to the stream, JG102. Appreciate you being here. Dude, as soon as I got that little Heli, gone. Ooh, wish I would have got that. I was saying before that I would have a little bit more of an advantage if I played this with my NES advantage. But I kind of wanted to just play it the way that most people would have had the opportunity to play it, by having to press this B button as fast as possible. Because the one thing that is cool is that it does come up with an automatic feature. Like, you do have the option to just hold it down and it will shoot, but not at the rate that you want it to. Like, if you're able to play this game at that slow of a rate of speed like this and still win, that's got to be some kind of special challenge out there, right? Like, beat this game while just holding automatic fire. Because that's difficult. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I don't know how anybody would be able to do that. I'm gonna have to just let him be down there. And the game don't mess around with its screenplay. You only have so much area. Like here, I'm all the way to the far left. You would probably be just like me and be like, well, go over just a little bit further. Why are you stopping there? Ah, believe me, man, I ain't stopping there. I don't have a choice. Like, that's as far as it's letting me go. We at least got through that part. Not too bad. JG Wendell asked me if this is the channel where only the sexy people play. Listen, only the sexy people that are wearing kimonos, because they obviously had somebody tip them so much money that they had to wear the kimono goal. I mean, they had no choice. We had the white kimono and we had the black kimono, and you guys asked for the black kimono. So you asked for it, you're getting it. I don't want to hear any complaints. After years of asking, you finally got it, and I'm gonna do it. And for anybody that watches this and doesn't know what I'm saying at all, good for you. Like, good for you. I applaud you, fine sir or ma'am. And look at this race car that's just all of a sudden out of nowhere. Like, what's that all about? Programmer was having fun at that point. He was like, let's throw a little F1 in there. Why not? Of course, we got to throw in a little ack. I bought some new shirts for all of you for my streams. You were all asking for it. So hopefully those will be here next week. I very much so look forward to making the goals so I can wear those shirts for you to make your experience more fun while I suck at the game still anyways. Because as we all know, that's how it works. It really doesn't matter how good you get at the game or if you are any good. It's what stupid hat and what stupid pair of glasses am I going to put on? And then that'll make it all better. And everybody can just hand me their wallets and we'll all have a great time, right? I know I will, because I'll have all your money, dummies. Once again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I applaud you. And I also apologize for calling you a dummy. You're not a dummy. You give me money, you're a dummy. And I want to know how you gave me money, because you have ways of contacting me that I don't know anyone that does. Oh, come on. That bomb didn't blow up one of them guys? It's a coup. I'm being set up. Whew. Evasive maneuvers. Save me again. All right, little Heli. Help me out. See, it just sounds weird saying that. I know I'm saying it right, I guess. But, man, as a kid, it was the only time that I got to say hell. So I'm going to be like, Tiger-Heli. And shouldn't it be heli? I mean, it's a helicopter. I know nobody says it that way. But it is a helicopter, right? So maybe I should just be saying Tiger-Hela. That's a hella tiger. And if you followed any of my streams in the past, you know that I don't curse in my stream. So that was definitely a kid thing, but I really wanted to be able to say hell. And now, you know, it's just a place. So I can say it. I at least would like to see level 3. I don't think that we've made it to level 3. And if we have already, don't be afraid to correct me in the chat. But if we have, we sure have not beat level 3. I mean, I don't think so. Unless I'm just missing it, because, I mean, the levels do kind of go fast. And it seems like the bosses are mixed in while you're playing. And of course, you have one bomb and one little heli. JG Whittle says, I want to go back to childhood where life was simple and go to school, and that's a wrap. I agree with you. You know, sometimes I'll be having this conversation with my kids because, you know, somebody seems to want to grow up just a little too fast, or somebody wants to be mother hen of the house over one of the younger ones. And it's hard for me because I was the oldest in the family. So I kind of always had that desire to grow up and do things quicker, and always trying to grow up too fast, really, is all that it comes down to. And I try to tell my oldest daughter in the house now that that's really not the end goal. Like, the end goal isn't to get to the finish line as fast as possible, to only realize that's not the finish line, that it's another starting line. A lot of us play the games that we do and stuff because it reminds us of our childhood, takes us back to quote unquote a simpler time. But the hard thing is that most of us would agree that the entire time we were just trying to grow up, though, too. Like, we were just waiting to be old enough to be able to do this and do that. Because, man, I'd be a complete liar if I didn't tell you one of the very first things I wanted to do was be able to get my own driver's license. Like, and nowadays, like, I ain't got no problem going anywhere. But if you gave me the option, stay at home, play some video games, or go drive somewhere, man, I know what driving somewhere entails now. Bunch of jerks who don't care about your life, driving like jerks, gas money, owning a car, paying for that car. I mean, there's just so many other responsibilities that go with it that if I had it my way now, I'd be like, nah, I'd much rather be the kid that sits in the back seat, getting to play something like the Nintendo Switch, and just, you know, driving Miss Daisy like, just take me there. Like, I don't even care how we get there. I don't care how fast we get there. Just let me sit in the back seat. Like, that would be awesome. Like, I'd be all for that. But like I said, man, we all very well know that we were just trying to grow up as fast as possible, just so we could be doing stuff first, have our chance at getting to do something new, where we were living in a great time, at least as far as my age goes, getting to play Nintendo games and doing things with, like, even just a TV. Video recording TV shows with your own VCR. I mean, nowadays everybody got like a DVR or whatever and stuff, but I don't think people really, like, kids nowadays don't really understand what it was like to get to record your own TV show, rewind it, and watch through it. Maybe having a parent that was recording their soaps so they wouldn't miss them while they were at work. I'm gonna pause this for 1 second because, man, I have completely lost track of the count of levels that we're in, but I'm pretty sure that that was us beating level 3. And I would like to see what the chat had to say about the last little bit that I said there. So JG Winnell says, this being an adult thing is trash sometimes. That's a hundy right there. 100%. I think our generation has a stronger connection to nostalgia than other generations. So many wild things happened in the 2000s that probably gave us a stronger love for the 90s. I can agree with that solely. I know that whenever I was a kid, having my own cassette player, aka Walkman, was like amazing to me. Because, I mean, man, whenever I was a kid, there was 8-track players still. Like, my parents' vehicle had an 8-track player in it. So, oh, you're gonna take me out like that in the center. Come on. My parents' vehicle had an 8-track player in it. So, to be like able to take an actual cassette with you and walk around and listen to the music was something else. And then being that same child, being able to record over those cassette tapes with your own voice, really upsetting some people that owned that cassette tape, because maybe, you know, it wasn't your cassette tape. It was your mom and dad's AC/DC cassette tape that you went and taped over, which definitely got you in some trouble. Oh man, I was really hoping I still had another life, because this is the level I think I have not made it past. Maybe I need to concentrate just a little bit more. But taping over those cassette tapes, getting to hear your own voice back, doing it all on your own. Like, nowadays, that's just a voice recording on an iPhone. What's the big deal? Like, are you kidding me? Like, I had a Fisher-Price cassette deck player, and I was able to record my own voice on it. Like, I'm sorry, but that was huge. Like, I'm just trying to get by these guys right now. Like, I ain't even... Woo! That was so close. I think he took one of my bombs away, but I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, without a doubt, right now, that this is the furthest that I've made it. At least today, I should say. Like, I've got pretty far in this game on my own. Just, I haven't played this particular game in a little while, as I try to play a lot of games when I have time. I've said this before on the channel. I have children, so I pay attention to my children first and do things with them before ever finding my time to do this. So I don't always have the ability or time during the day that would be great to be able to do this earlier on like I am today. But today my wife is off. Oh, just slipping in between the bullets there. My wife is off today, and we had the freedom after cooking dinner and washing dishes to be able to let me go up and play some. And I knew what game I wanted to play right away. Like, as soon as I opened up my case, I said earlier, like, I was like, yeah, I haven't played Tiger-Heli yet. Like, how have I not played that game yet? So, JG Winnell says, I wonder if I still have a Walkman in storage or not. That's a great question, because I'm telling you right now, I had a Walkman cassette deck. I don't have it anymore. But then I also had a Walkman CD player. And I don't think anybody nowadays even understands that CD players used to skip. Is anybody aware of that still now? Like, does anybody remember that? That I owned a CD player in my car that if I hit a speed bump too hard, it skipped. And I don't think that that's a thing anymore. Like, I think that's the past. Like, am I wrong? Because I think it's the past. I don't think that it's a problem anymore. I don't think that it's something that anybody experiences. Thankfully, that is not something most people would experience if they're doing everything on like a shuffle or whatever. But, dude, as a kid, I had like, and kid being 16 in a car, I probably had 20 CDs in my car, and I'd be lucky if just on the way to school, they didn't skip at least once. Bad back roads out in Amish country. Trying to keep my Rob Zombie Dracula and my Wish I Were a Cowboy. I'm trying to think of who even sings that. Is it Toby Keith that sings that song? Like, just trying to keep them from skipping on the way to school. That was half the battle. And I do want to read your next message, JG Winnell. I just, man, we're at a pivotal point in the game right now where everything is trying to kill me. And it did. Hey, we still got a life. I must be collecting lives because of my points or something. Because I know that that's 3 times that I've died during this play. Shouldn't say I know. I feel. What happened there? Like, I'm pretty sure I hit that. The Disc Man. JG Winnell says the Disc Man. That's what it was. It wasn't a Walkman, it was the Disc Man. And that is true. Yeah, the CDRs. He said the late 90s was whenever the CDRs was pretty much my comparison to what a cassette tape was. Being able to record yourself onto a CD. Like, that's some amazing stuff too, because that's the type of thing that makes you think where times are different or something has changed. Because when you first got a CD, like, I think my very first CD that I ever got, I was 12. And when I got that CD, the very first CD that I ever got was the Tractors. And I think their song that I listened to on there was Boogie Woogie Choo Choo Train, I think is what it was. And to be able to record onto a CD, I'm sure that blew the minds of kids that had never had a cassette player. But it was more than surprising to me, because I still am so surprised by how a cassette player actually, well, not a cassette player, but a CD player even works. Like, I could be wrong here. Sorry, I'm having like a brain fart moment right now. I'm not positive on this, but I think we're to the harder levels already. I think I did my level 4, and I think I went on to the harder stages, because there's only 4 levels in the game. And then once you do the 4 levels, you kind of at that point of it's going to just get harder. And it fell harder. Like, I remember that level. I just didn't remember this level at the very beginning. But that part that we just played there, that I died pretty fast in, I'm pretty sure that that was the secondary part of the harder levels. So, JG Wendell says, late 90s when the CDRs were a thing, you could burn your music was a wild time that folks won't know about today. And my first CD was the Batman Forever soundtrack. That's awesome. Like, that's an awesome first CD. How am I still alive? I wasn't even looking at the screen. Like, I'm definitely playing. I couldn't have done that watching the game while I'm playing. I'm doing a no-look read text. Maybe I got hit. Maybe I don't have any bombs left. Maybe that's it. Maybe I just shouldn't question it. Well, I hope you've enjoyed getting to watch me play some of this Tiger-Heli. We at least did make it through all of the levels that are available, and then got the opportunity to restart them. That was a good time to drop a bomb there. One of the next games that I will be playing, at least this is what I feel like I'm going to play here soon, is Defender 2. I was looking through my games. Oh man, I lost that as soon as I got it again. I was looking through my games and I was looking for Defender. I remember Defender being on the Atari. I just don't know that there's a Defender 1 for the Nintendo. So I'm going to continue to look, but if I don't own Defender, my plan is to play Defender 2. I want to play a couple more of the shoot 'em up, top down, and that one actually has a little bit of side scrolling as well. This is what I believe they consider top down scrolling, because really the background is pushing forward. You have no choice. You're not actually moving forward. Like if I was to stay right here, I'm still going no matter what. I don't actually have to make any progression in the game. The game progresses me no matter what. As long as I'm alive, you know? As long as I don't get blowed up. JG Wendell, how's the sound for the game right now? Because that was the one thing that I couldn't really test out before starting the game up. Has the sound been okay for the game itself? Dude, I look away for 2 seconds. Excellent. I'm glad it sounds okay. Sometimes that's the hardest part about doing any of these recordings, is making sure that the sound is okay. Because if you can't hear me, there's no point in me talking. And I don't have to talk the whole time. Like, I could turn the camera off on both me and just go ahead and play the game. I am seeing that my green screen is trying to be goofy right now. And that happens. Don't know why it looks like the screen at the top is all messed up, but it could be for where I'm sitting, because I'll be sliding back into the green screen. The best thing to do for that is to just get rid of that guy. You've already seen that I'm in the kimono. You ain't got to see me from that distance. But I wish there was more levels to this game. Like, knowing that I've made it through those levels and then it just rolled back over, just being harder. Can I say, oh, I beat it on the harder level and everything? Obviously not today. But at the same time, it would just be nice to see a couple more additional levels for it. Now, one way to be able to get some different levels would be to go to PlayStation. Because see, PlayStation in 1996 made a revamped game of Tiger-Heli, obviously understanding that they had such a wide support base of people that enjoyed Tiger-Heli. So that game is called Toapin Shooting Battle. I gotta look down at my notes to be for sure on that. Yeah, Toapin Shooting Battle. And then, from what I understand, Nintendo Switch also has the Toapin Battle and then another variation of Tiger-Heli. But since I said I would like to do some more top-down shooters and stuff, and I pointed out that there's Twin Cobra and Twin Cobra 2, we're going to play this one more time. I could play both of those. Now, I'm pretty sure that I don't own Twin Cobra 2, but I could be wrong, because, I mean, I know that I'm over 600 and some in the games now, and there's only 714 of them complete. But I also have some unlicensed ones that I don't believe were counted in that 714. That 714 number is just licensed NES games. Dude, that guy. JG Winnell says that that game was at least released in Japan on the Switch. So that kind of makes sense why I shouldn't say I haven't seen it, but I don't remember seeing it. And I also don't own anything digital on my Switch except for the game The Longing. And the only reason that I got that game digitally, I guess there's two reasons. There's not just only reason. There's two reasons. One, it was finally on sale. It was like, I think I paid $7.99 for it. So I was like, yeah, I'll buy it now. And the other reason, which was the major reason, was it said that it was a 400-day long game. And I thought, what game takes 400 days to complete? Like, I don't want to be playing no game for 400 days. But for some reason, I was very intrigued on it because, like the name says, The Longing, you were just waiting pretty much for those days to be over. And then you have this whole mindset of how many people are living their lives that way? Like, how many people are just waiting for their days to be numbered and finally be done and up? Like, waiting for their ticket to be punched. I sure hope not very many. Hope everybody enjoys each day and realizes that every single day, whether it sucks or not, is a blessing. It could be the worst day that you've ever had. And my worst day is still better than no day alive here. I'd much rather take those bad days and try to find a way to enjoy myself than to not be around at all. So if For Retro's sake got serious at all for a minute, that's the only thing serious that you should take away from this, is that you should want to live your life to the fullest while you can while you're here, and enjoy every moment that you have while you are here. Because you never know whenever you won't be here anymore. I appreciate that, JG Winnell. He told me that he sent me the link for the Tiger-Heli version on Nintendo Switch. Now, you said at one point Skyrim, apparently. Are you saying that that's one of the digital games that you purchased? And I wouldn't personally recommend The Longing to anyone. Like, it was fun. But I think you would have to watch a short little review on the game and you be that deciding factor on whether or not you would want to play it. Oh, that's a 400-day game for some folks. Yeah, you're right. Like, for some folks, you can play Skyrim for years and years. I mean, no hate on someone that really likes a game and like wants to keep playing it or anything. Like, that's great that you found a game that you love and that you want to play. But if you're a content creator playing the same stupid game over and over and over again, and then all you want to do is complain about low support and people not watching, well, you have to understand, man, that some people move on and want to see different games, and I'm not the best person to be here trying to sell that to you, given that I'm playing 35-plus-year-old games. So, hey, Pot. This is Kettle. You're black. It's really difficult for me to talk down about somebody wanting to play a game for over a year, but then at the same time, I'm playing a game that I should have been done with years ago. Like, time to move on, bro. Time to move on. But that wouldn't be for retro's sake. Now, would it? And then you guys wouldn't... Oh, I couldn't go any farther up in the screen? Then you guys wouldn't get to see me dying at a 30-plus-year-old game. The 8-year-old me probably just romped on this. Like, no problems at all. There's so many times that I play these games and I'm like, dude, little me, if he could come back for like just half an hour, he'd be like, you suck. You call yourself a gamer? But the longing doesn't have to be 400 days old, 400 days long to beat it. Just as a little side note about the game, like, you can actually beat that game. It took me 11 days. And I was moving at the time when I beat it. I actually stopped packing up the truck to finish the last hour of the game, because without giving anything away, you can manipulate time. Ooh, look at that, trying to get me right at the heli. You can manipulate time. So, just like in real life, you can sit around in a recliner and it'll feel like time's going by slow as can be. Or you could keep yourself busy. Busy little bee going everywhere about and out. And before you know it, each day is done before the next one starts. And it's just going by so fast. So, the game has a lot of real life to it. Kind of like whenever I played Celeste, and it had a whole depression / life learning level to it, like just really hitting it home with a lot of people, because I think today's day and age thinks that we're the first people to be depressed. I think today's day and age thinks that we're the only ones experiencing what we're experiencing. And I don't try to get on here and quote the Bible to people ever. Not very often. But there's a section in the Bible called Ecclesiastes. And in Ecclesiastes, there's a lot of sadness and sorrow is what you hear from it. Just boo the frig who is pretty much what I think every time I read any of it. But the gist of Ecclesiastes is for you to understand that there is nothing new under the sun. Nothing is new. So when you start thinking, oh, life's so terrible, this is the worst the times have ever been, it's just not the case. Like, it's really not the case. There's been worse times. There's been better times. But it's not new. It's just perceived differently. You think that the very first time that somebody came up with tossing rocks, that wasn't their version of shooting marbles, and then turned into throwing dice, and then turned into playing poker, and then turned into playing it on a video game system. So I try to remind myself that even though it may be bad, it's not nearly as bad as what we usually think. It's not that bad unless you make it that bad. And the longing put me through a mental check, especially in a time where moving sucked. And like, unless you're like a mover who really, really enjoys your pay, I don't see anybody or know anybody that likes moving. Like, you got to be a special character to enjoy some moving. JG Wendell says the only digital games on his Switch are Cuphead, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6, since that's the only way to get them. And I would agree with you. Oh, and he also says, and Resident Evil 1. I would agree with you that that's what I would get for my Switch if I needed to. My problem is, for me personally, is that I own every single one of those on another system. And since I am for retro's sake, all of my retro consoles are right here. Like, I have my Sega right here. I've got my Super Nintendo right here. I got my PlayStation 3 right here. I've got my GameCube, my Nintendo 64, my Wii U. I've got an Xbox right there. I've got almost all of them sitting right here in front of me. And my PlayStation 4 is in the other room as a DVD player, and when I want to play a PlayStation 4 game before bed. So I don't try to always buy games that are coming out for another system just to play them. But at the same time, dude, the Switch is so portable and so easy. And even when you want to play it on the TV, it's just so much easier to play it on the TV than any other system out there. And switching out game to game. Don't get me wrong, like, I like the digital aspect as far as quick switch, because if you know me, blowing out some of these cartridges and cleaning them and everything else just to get them to work, that grows annoying at times. It really does. JG Winnow also says when the pandemic hit, 2020 seemed to fly by. It was so weird. That was definitely a weird time. I had shoulder surgery at the beginning of 2020. I had ruptured my bicep tendon in my shoulder, and I also had rotator cuff damage. So I had pretty much, I mean, I'm not the physician, but I had a complete reconstructive surgery on my shoulder in January, and I wasn't able to work until July of that year. And it was weird because when I went to go get the surgery in January, I didn't have to wear no mask. Nobody checked my temperature. The room was completely full because it was a booming surgical office. And then whenever I came back in April for a follow-up, they made me put a mask on at the door. They were checking my temperature. There was 3 people in the waiting room. There is no joke about this. Every bit of 50 chairs in that waiting room. And there was 3 people in that entire waiting room that were allowed in at a time. It was weird. Like, 2020 was such a weird year, I would say, for everybody all around, because one month everybody's fine, and then the next month everybody's scared like chickens with their heads cut off. Just craziness. JG Wendell says, I think when we don't engage in anything new, times move faster than we think. I can say that is some of the reason why I stay away from the pig roach at points. I will find myself bored out of my mind. Time just seemed to slip away that day. because I watched him for too long and took in, can you guys support me by giving me tips? Can you guys help support? Because support's really low. I know I've got 100 likes here, but the support's so low right now. I mean, come on. Dude, stop saying support whenever everybody knows what you mean. You mean you want more money. If you were more direct about it and was a real man and said, listen, I do this for a living for y'all. And if you don't want me to, then I'll go get another job. But instead, he lies about it. He perceives this like, I'm needing you to buy in, when in reality, he is needing you to keep him from getting a job because he refuses to go out and get a job. Dude's still living in 2020, hardcore. And the sad part about it is, obviously, because I didn't know about him too much until last year or two, this dude has been living in 2020 back in 2010. Like, he's been trying to stay like this for all this time. So I totally agree with you that when you don't try to engage yourself into something new, it does feel monotonous. It does feel like the same stupid crap, rewind, repeat, day in, day out. And you would think that that would make it slower. I mean, that's just me. You would think that that would make it slower, where in reality, it doesn't make it slower. Like, what it really makes is it just makes it so boring that you don't care about anything else that's going on. Like, it's just like, whatever. Like, this is what my day is gonna be. And I don't know, like, I can kind of understand that whenever, you know, you gotta work 5-6 days a week and you can't really change what you do at your job all the time. Because believe me, I have so much respect for anybody that goes out there and works a 9 to 5, works an 11 to 7, works a 3 to 11, whatever the schedule is that they have to go out and do to provide and take care for their family. Like, I have huge amounts of respect for those people. I also have the same amount of respect for people that have found new ventures and are able to stay at home and make money and never have to go out somewhere. Like, I think that's commendable as well. I think it also depends on how you're doing it. If you're sitting there begging off of everybody else to pay your way and making people like P5 says, welcome to the chat, OIC, Slayer, Jax, like, whenever you're simply fending off of all of those people, I did really good at getting across that screen, but then dawn. You're expecting those same people all the time. Man, that makes me feel, I've said this before, and I know it's not really a popular thought process, but it really makes me sad for those people at times. Like, they have fallen into the gutter. And what's in that gutter? DS frickin' P. Are you kidding me? Like, I can think of a lot of prisons and crap that I would go to well before ever having to spend my days and days out with DSP as my companion. Like, oh my God. That, I'm so happy that they push on to the next day still, knowing how he treats them and acts towards them. Like, man, you act like they owe you something, when in reality, you were there to entertain them. And you know, the moment I'm not entertained with what I'm doing, I stop doing it. You know, like, there's times where I want to stay on here for as long as I can, but I've got another obligation. Well, that guy's got nothing. I mean, he got a cat and a horse to take care of, and the cat sure as crap don't like him. Cat's throwing him under the bus for his WWE champions and biting at him every time that he tries to touch him. Now, don't get me wrong, my cat likes to screw around with me every once in a while, but every time that cat is ever on camera, it's biting at him. If it's not licking him, which is disgusting, man. Feel so bad for Jasper. That cat needs something else to be able to do, man. What sparked this rant? What did spark this rant? It's a great question, guy with two names. We went on from pandemic hit in 2020. I think when we don't engage in something new, that's what sparked it. I said that's why sometimes I have to take a little break and not involve myself in a day-to-day process of watching anything DSP, because I will find myself just like, I don't know, dull, droned out, don't really care about what's going on or anything in general. But yeah, that was a pretty hefty rant. I apologize. Guy with two names, there's so many times where I will tell people in these streams that are watching that don't know who he is, that I applaud them, that I think very highly of those people that have found a way to keep from knowing who this person is, because he seems to infiltrate on many levels. And I feel so terrible for those people, all of us, that have ever, oh man, I'm gonna go and lose the other heli as soon as I get the other one. And if you are just now tuning in, we did play through this complete. The thing about Tiger-Heli, Heli, whatever, is that there's only 4 levels to the game. And once you beat the 4th level, there is no high five, congratulations, you're awesome, you won the game. It just starts over. And when it starts over, it's just one step up. It's a little harder. So enemies' weapons come at you faster. It seems like they're a little bit smarter, if I'm saying that correctly. I don't really know that they grow in intelligence, but at the same time, because they're shooting a little faster, they seem to track you a little faster. And I got on my little, oh, I knew I was sacrificing him. I got on my little rant and was just sitting there on the pause screen for a little while, and I thought, dude, I can complain about this guy all day long while playing Tiger-Heli, or Heli, however you like to say it. But I appreciate you, FIFA Fona, guy with two names, Deshaun Krug, JG Winnell, for stopping by and watching some of this, all for retro sake. Later, FIFA Fona, thanks for stopping by. This might be one of the only times that I've lasted this long with both of the little Heelys. I don't think I beat one of the levels having both Heelys with me still. So there's a first. Thank you, FIFA Fona. I really appreciate that. She said, of course, I enjoy some old school games, especially from someone who has a passion to play them. I definitely have the passion to play them. The hardest part for me at times is that there are so many new cool games that come out, and man, I love playing those too. Like, I've had so many newer games come in of recent too that I just have not given any attention to that they deserve. And that kind of goes back to what JG Winnell and I were talking about with, like, when you don't really go and experience something new. Oh, I'm just glad I didn't lose both of them. When you don't really experience anything new, you can find that time just seems to fly by, and you're not able to really grasp onto the reality of what time is. I mean, given that time is relative, so it's kind of hard to base time frames whenever I've been at work before and time has drug on forever. And then I've also had some of the worst days ever at work, and it flew right on by. Like, it was the fastest day ever, and it was a terrible day. So time is literally so relative. It's weird to try. Could you imagine trying to explain time, as we do here in our house, to children? Like, just the simple fact of time for bed. It's time for bed. Who set that time? Is pretty much what they're thinking. Like, who? Who said it's time for bed? You did? Why is it time for bed? Well, for a couple of reasons. Number one, if you don't go to sleep ever, I don't get to play cool NES games with all my friends. And number two, because you're too young still, and if you don't go to bed at a decent time, I gotta clean up all your pee mess. And I don't wanna have to do all that. So it takes more time away from me later if I don't send you to bed a little earlier. And then I'll find myself trying to do games like this whenever my wife is finally home. And man, do I feel like I'm wasting time because I should be doing something with her. Thankfully, which is really weird to say this, but thankfully, sometimes she has schoolwork to do. And I don't feel as bad because she's just reading a book or whatever. Like, what's it really matter? I can't sit downstairs, man, and play my games all night long and have everybody staring at me like, we want to watch some Disney Plus. Oh, wait, sorry. We got rid of Disney Plus because it's too expensive. Like, we're cutting back right now. I don't believe that for a second. Pig Roach trying to sell that to his audience. He ain't got no Disney Plus. Okay. That's funny because just a couple of months ago, you told a guy what? So I get rid of Disney Plus at $7.99 a month. What do? Stop eating too? Stop breathing? What else you want me to give up? So no, we ain't giving up no Disney Plus yet. Times aren't that hard that we need to give up the Disney Plus yet. And if we're being real, I just don't have any of those other services though, you know? Like, I got Disney Plus and Hulu. That's it. Like, Prime comes with the stupid account so everybody can buy stuff off of Amazon all the time. It ain't like I want Prime as a service or something. Like, oh, I gotta have it. Now I do watch a couple of shows off of... No! I do watch a couple of services off of Prime. Like, I like that TV show House. I think that's pretty cool. Can't think of anything else that I watch off of Prime. Oh, we were watching SpongeBob. That's right. Like, my wife hates SpongeBob, but me and my one daughter, we watch SpongeBob every once in a while. It's our little show. Guy with two names says, that $8, man, it's gotta go to Hogan. As sad as that sounds, I would believe that over cutting back, saving money, anything like that. Like, if he just straightforward said, I'm a gotcha addict, and I'd much rather spend the $8 on the gotcha game than on some stupid Disney Plus whenever I'm streaming all the time or playing my mobile game. Like, why do I need that stupid streaming service? I would buy that. And guess what? I don't even have to matter. Like, it doesn't have to matter if I believe it or not. It doesn't really matter if I care at all. Like, you don't need anybody's approval to do what you want. You the man of the house. You do what you want. But you're like a competitive liar. Like, you want everyone to think you're something better, when why not just be who you are? Like, and if everybody thinks that part of you sucks, you might want to recalculate yourself for a second and think, would that really be the difference on whether or not they tip me more? I mean, would it? Oh, I wish the bomb took everything away on the screen. That would be really nice. But to finish up that thought, do you really think that everybody would stop tipping you based on that and that alone? Like, do you? because that's sad. Like, that's really, truly sad. What's that evasive? I can't make it through it without jinxing myself. Do you really think that that makes all the difference? Do you? Do you really think at the end of the day that they give you money because you're so good at gaming? Do you really think that they give you money because you're such a stand-up dude? Nah, man. You king of the nerds. You king of the piglets. You king of nothing. Like, king of retro? Man, don't play Castlevania while you save scum the crap out of it and call yourself the king of retro. Someone who plays more retro games than you ever will wouldn't even as much as call himself the king of retro. Someone that I like to watch every once in a while play video games, his name is Arcus. I'm gonna mess it up, guaranteed, trying to like give him a little shout out. But he don't need my shout out, man. He's got more than enough followers, and everybody that knows older games and stuff knows who he is. He does speed runs, but almost all of his stuff is emulated. And I ain't trying to hate on emulation at all or anything. All I am saying is there's a whole different level of person that collects this older stuff, goes through the process of cleaning it, maintaining it, and preserving it, the history of it, and trying to keep playing the original hardware as it is. Where sometimes, and maybe it's just me, but he'll do things on the emulation that I can't repeat. Like, I can't duplicate on my hardware. But my hardware seems to be, you know, the hardware. But yet I can't duplicate something that he did in a game. One of those examples is Ninja Gaiden. And I'm not downplaying him at all. He's awesome, and he's a very humble dude. Very nice, seemingly nice guy on streams. But he will play a section in 5.2 on Ninja Gaiden that I can't duplicate. And I swear it's because it's emulated. Like, there's a jump off of a cliff where you drop down and you've got to hit the left side of the cliff and then bounce to the right. And at the same time, you can jump off of an enemy that's coming across the screen. Well, I'm telling you, like, if there's a game that I've played a lot of, it's Ninja Gaiden. Like, I've played a lot of Ninja Gaiden, and I can't duplicate that move. And I've watched him practice it over and over and over again. And I'm telling you right now, I can't duplicate it. Now, does that mean that he's got some kind of cheat or something? No, maybe I just suck, you know? Maybe I'm just not as good as him. That's totally legit and 100% probable. Like, I'm just not as good as him in that particular game. But I'm not going to say that I haven't tried. Like, I have overtly tried it, and I can't duplicate it. We got a guy that gets on camera and is like, start, save. Okay, I just hit Dracula with one hit. Pause, save. Oh, I just finally beat the first part of Dracula. Save. Like, dude, stop. Like, there's really no point of you even playing it. Like, you're giving all of these people a false mentality of what these games really are. Why don't you come out here and play it like I am right now? And if we replay all of this, I bet you I've died 15 times. Like, that's just a number. It's probably more than that. Like, let's just say I've probably restarted the game 15 times. Like, and that's okay. That's half of NES playing. That's half of retro gaming, is playing a level, replaying it, and trying again. Like, just keep retrying it. But I also don't go around calling myself the king of nothing here. Like, so maybe that's my fault for thinking that I understand, because I'm just a lowly peasant. What do I know? Okay, so guy with two names says that he's guessing that there's a possibility that the emulation picks up the button faster. And I'm totally okay with that. Like, that could 100% be the reason, because in that particular move that I'm complaining about here, you have to have stuck yourself to the wall and jumped off of the wall pretty much in the same move. I mean, it is an instantaneous hit. So that's very possible. And guess what? If it is, I really don't care. Like, that's great. And it also sucks at the same time, because I'll be watching something that Arcus does and think, oh man, he really gave me a good tip on how to get past this part or something. I'm gonna try to use that next time. And then I'll do it, and I ain't getting nowhere. Like, I bet you one day I played Ninja Gaiden for 8 hours. Just trying that one part. And the reason I say that I know it was 8 hours at least is because where he can pause and reload a section because it's emulated, I can't do that. I gotta go back and play through all of that area. If I died and lost all of my lives, I gotta go back through that. So I feel like at a point I'm at a disadvantage because I can't just restart it back up in that area and play it again. But watching some of his speed runs are really cool. Like, I'm glad that there is an emulation out there available for someone like him to be able to do, because there's still plenty of big ups to give to him for just being able to go through some of those games and memorize the sections. I mean, just literally memorizing where to jump at the right time and hit the button. That's a lot of work. P5 Fona says she loves Ninja Gaiden. I was watching P5 Fona play. P5 Fona has a Twitch, a gaming platform on Twitch, where she plays a wide variety of games as well. So if you've never caught her on her Twitch, you should go over and check her out. And Guy with Two Names also streams and plays games. He's played Hitman and Fallout of recent that I've watched. But watching P5 Fona play Ninja Gaiden, what I believe was, I think she said it might have been the third one, and it could be the last one. It wouldn't matter what one it was, because it was awesome. Just seeing the major differences from her version to my NES version is just amazing. But I can see where someone would be as interested in Ninja Gaiden, because there's so much depth to the game of learning each character being enemy, each enemy and how they move and how they react, because it was kind of meant to be a speedrun style game. So watching someone like Arcus play it has been interesting to me, because he plays it how I believe the game was designed to be played. Like, anyone that's plugged that game in before realizes that there's times where you just need to be speed. Like, you need to keep going and don't look back. You look back, you're dead. You don't have a chance. Like, just keep going. And I enjoy that. Oh, wrong spot. Yeah, thanks for blowing me up there, pal. But if you haven't checked out P5 Fona's channel, go check her out. Check Guy with Two Names out too. I really enjoy his Fallout playthrough that he's been doing. He allows you trolls to come in there and mess with his gameplay, and it's a really fun time. One thing that I mentioned earlier about this particular game, Tiger-Heli, is that it gives you the opportunity with checkpoints to not have to start, man, everything all over every time you die. I think we're down to my last life here. So given that it has checkpoints, it makes the game a lot more fun. Oh! Too far off to the... Man, it's just giving me free lives now. I don't know what I did to deserve them, but I have not been using them wisely. I've been losing them the moment that I get them, I swear. Maybe it's because I keep forgetting to use bombs. Somebody call the retro police. He must be using an emulator. That's why I jokingly say I don't even know how to emulate. It's partly a joke and still very, very much so true. Like, I obviously understand how, like, if you're on the Switch and you play on their Nintendo Online service, how to get a game to play on there. Like, I understand that, but I don't understand, or nor have I ever looked up where you would even go to play these retro games on a computer, because, well, I've had the game. Like, why would I go get on a computer if I have the game? Diva 2 Name says he would save Scum Pac-Man. It's funny because it's true. We laugh because it hurts too much to cry. That is so true and so pathetic. Like, did he use save scums while he was playing Pac-Man? Because he played Pac-Man recently, didn't he, Guy with 2 Names? Like, I'm pretty sure of that. Oh, I must have got hit. P5 Fona said that she wanted to learn how to speedrun Ninja Gaiden. And then I think she said there, because I looked away, that it was too hard. I think that's what she said there. And if she said that, too difficult. I would agree with you, because I'm telling you, I get to that final stage, and I can't remember the bosses, because there's multiple bosses. But I can't remember the bosses' names right now off the top of my head. I know that as a kid, whenever I would get to that final boss, just being able to get to the final boss was hard enough as it was. Let alone, I think Darth Maul is what his name is. I feel like that's wrong. Why does that sound so wrong? He said, I hope he didn't save Scum. I didn't catch the Pac-Man run, like the most recent Pac-Man run that he did. I didn't catch that, so I don't really know. I don't know if he did or didn't, but any game that he's been able to save Scum in, I think he has. Like, since the both of you have been talking back and forth, would you be interested in me playing Crystalis next? If you don't know what it is, that's fine too. I just thought that I would ask because I believe it's one of those games where if I got into it, I don't need my hand held, but I would kind of like to know that maybe somebody that's watching it has the slightest idea of what's going on, because that was a lot of my problems as a kid and growing up playing Zelda, was that I would play that game and then it would just be so like, I don't know what direction I'm going. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And I would waste a lot of hours looking for stuff and finding stuff because that was fun to me. Like looking through that game and everything. I tell you what, Guy with 2 Names says he's not familiar with that game. Give me 2 seconds here. I've got it right on top of the deck. I'm just going to put you on a save screen for right now. And I'm going to flip over the game. I ain't even going to run an ad. I'm not even going to mute the mic. I'm going one better than DSP. I am going to turn the volume off of the game, though, So in case it goes wild, all right, so I gotta hit reset because it starts out right away. I mean, as soon as you hit start. Thanks for not running ads. You're welcome, guy with two names. And for not harassing you for the tips goal, well, you must have missed the earlier Begman. I mean, I was all over it. I made sure that I got that money. I had all of the people pulling out their Velcro wallets, pulling out those crisp $2 bills, and PayPaling them my way so we could make the glasses goal, the hat goal, and the kimono goal. So I thank you all for contributing, supporting the stream, because now the cat can have litter and soft food for the morning. And I won't have to eat a lunch meat sandwich like a little peasant boy. So I let the credits run there, and the idea in this game is that aliens, I mean, almost always, of course, is what the deal is, is the problem. But this land has been lifted up into the sky, and they wanted to get away from any kind of evil. When you start out in this game, it's really interesting to me because it's the one game that, like, over the course of all the games I've ever played, the way you enter into the game, I think, is hilarious. Like, you come busting out of a cave, and the first person that sees you, like, craps his pants. Like, oh my God, a man came out of the cave. It's just hilarious to me. I don't know why. Like, I could almost have that as my opening screen or something. Like, oh my God, a guy came out of the cave. Did we jump into Fallout here? Does this look like a Fallout screen to you, guy with two names? I don't think that anything else really fits. Yeah, correct. Looks like Fallout New Vegas, right? Like, at least that part of the screen does a little bit. So, this is us. Ain't no way back in there. You stuck out here, and as you can see, you got a level indicator, you got a money indicator, and then MP, and then you got some EX down here at the bottom. You have force, and you have life. So maybe you're like a miniaturized Jedi, since you have some force. This is the part that I was talking about. Hey, there's a guy coming out of the cave. Like, just the way that they place that. Like, why's he got to come out of the cave anyways? So, this is a lot like Zelda. The only difference, though, that I would say that, like, you can screw yourself in the very, very beginning of this game. Like, right off the start, you could accidentally spend money here to go to sleep. Well, I guess you don't have any money right now. You can spend money once you go to this other individual. The wind here is always cold, but we're used to it. I know I get some money right away. Like, one of these people give me some money. Now. And I don't even push a button. Like, if I walk into them, it activates this talk screen. So it's not like I pushed a button. Like, if you walk anywhere near them, you're talking to them. You have finally awoken. This money is from the wise man Zebu. It's yours. All right, so there's my $100. So I obviously got my $100 tithe from Jax Raxer. Oh wait, sorry. I guess that would probably be from Email. Email hooked me up with $100 right away. So now I can go down here and buy some gear or something. And the reason I say that you can screw yourself right away is that you don't really need either one of these items. Like, that isn't what's really needed. What you really need, yeah, we know that the wind is cold here. Lady needs to find some friends to talk to. What you're really going to need is this alarm flute. So the alarm flute is to wake up the guy that is supposed to be manning the wind tower, I believe is what it's called. So we're going to go ahead and buy it now because it'll save me from having to go all the way back here again. And then if we were to look at my main screen, this is what it tells me for armor and shield. And if I remember correctly, you push select and you will have your sword block, your armor block, your shield, and your power. All items that you will pick up as you're going on. And how would you know any of this? Okay, so I'll show you how you would find out that you should have done that first, because as soon as you come up here, you're gonna be like, wait, I'm pushing A, I'm pushing B, and I can't do anything to that glob. Like, and Tony the Tiger and his twin brother are here, and you can't do nothing to them. So you just start walking around. Like, I don't want to get hit by the blobs because they're going to kill me. And you just start walking around. The coolest part is, man, there's no speed, but that guy is flying. Like, he's scooting. Come to this dead end. Nothing. And here's the wind tower. And it says that you need a key to start this up. But the guy that's running the wind tower falls asleep all the time and doesn't actually like show up until you do certain things. Like, so this is one of those games where, like, if you don't know what you're doing, nice, you've got to go through it and search. Like, you kind of just got to keep walking around and trying to talk to people to find out what it is that you're missing, because this was the #1 reason why I said if I play this, and P5 Fona says it's her favorite game, so that is super awesome to me, because I'm telling you right now, I need it to be someone's favorite game, because I can't walk around in this thing without having my hand held, because you seriously can waste hours in this game if you don't know at all the direction that you're supposed to be going, who you're supposed to go to and talk to, because I'm almost positive the sword gets gifted to me. I don't even have to buy. She's my game trekker. Says, oh, it's you. I'm sorry. I ran from you when we first met. Oh, yeah. So you're the oh crap guy. I pooped my pants. There's your scat joke for the day. Zebu says he's having a hard time with the windmill guard. He's always sleeping. Alright. Fair enough. Think the rabbit hurts me? Q. She's my game tracker without the tips. Hey man, if she's giving me tips into the game, I'm okay with that. I am the village elder. You awoke from inside the cave, didn't you? Well, that must make him the elder. He already knows things that have happened. We were told you would arrive. You are our last hope to defeat evil. Receive this sword to protect you and on your quest. This and others like it will guide you. So that's how you get the sword. You're not buying it. It's handed to you by looking around in this town first. I'm going to talk to this. There is an old windmill to the north, but I've never seen it working. If you ever need to wake anyone up, use the alarm flute. It never fails. So that's why we bought the alarm flute. I've obviously played that much of the game where I realize right from the start, he tells me I need the alarm flute. So I might as well just go buy it, be done with it. I was hoping that maybe there was something up here that I didn't know about. So now, if I want to use the sword, I have to go and equip it. And then I can power it up. And I now have, I'm pretty sure the power of wind is what that one is. And we'll look around a little bit more. Now, same guy, same story. Different event. That lady's always telling me about how cold it is. Go figure. She got to complain about how cold it is. Leave me alone. I don't know if you actually need to sleep in this game because it does charge you. My guess, like most games, is that if you want your life restored, you pay $16, you sleep, and your life's restored. We'd have to ask P5 Fona about that to be for certain. It says, this is the village of Leaf. There are great dangers outside the town. Please be careful. Whatever you say, man. So, the very first time that I ever put this game in, I obviously went and spent my $100 on the dumbest crap. Like, the tan hide part and the boots. I didn't really think about needing to save that money to be able to buy the alarm flute. But you collect coins off of these guys. And from what it looks like, it's one. Now, if I hold it down and shoot towards them, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it still requires 2 shots. So that's kind of why I just do the 2. It keeps them a little closer. Then I don't have to chase them down. But what I had to do the first time I ever played this was go around and collect a coin per each one of those guys until I had my 50 coins back to get that stupid alarm flute, because I already spent all my money on gacha games. I was pulling Hogan's, and before you know it, I was $140,000 in. I'm sure there's people out there that understand. Hey. A Derek moment, but the same Athena and Kensu from King of Fighters appear in this game. Oh, I did not know that. If you use a sword, it does damage to enemies. So if you just happen to buy stuff and waste all your money, then game over? Nah, not so much. You can still get the sword for free no matter what by talking to different individuals, but you will have to go and start collecting all of that $50 to get the alarm flute to go on further in the game. So it's not so much as game over, but it is game sucking hours out of your life that you shouldn't have wasted. And whenever you're brand new to the game, you don't know exactly what you're doing, that happens. Now, my guess right now is that I need to be down at that cave that I was just at, but I turned away from. So if I go back over here to this cave, I love that he is like booking it everywhere he goes. Like he's flying. He ain't screwing around. He's like, let's get there. Let's get there. Let's get there. Let's get there. Like any other game like this, man, it's always slow. Whoa. I forgot about him. I'm called Zebu. Or Retro. You are the one we have been waiting for. Try to make the windmill work. If you can, do this. I will teach you some magic. So now, because I screwed up, and I should have came here and talked to him first, I gotta go back, I'm pretty sure, back to the spot where I was just at, and the dude that's always sleeping on the job will be there sleeping. That is the one negative thing that I'll say, is because he moves so fast, you accidentally run into people whenever you think it's just okay to be booking it through areas. At least I do. So now the kid's there. Now y'all saw like 3 times I went up there. There was no kid there. Like, but now he's there sleeping. So I go to my inventory. I go to the flute. I pick it. I woke him up, that little Tweedledee. Huh? What was that? Don't do that again. Man, get to work. It's you. Please don't tell Zebu. Take this to start the windmill. Zebu says a strange ball is hidden in these caves. He says it can break rock walls. You now have the key to the windmill. Listen, jerk. You go start at the windmill. Like, why you gotta hand me the keys and tell me to do your job? Like, you the one with the keys, go do it yourself. Some crap. The windmill begins to work. Okay. And magically it opened up some hole in the wall. Don't know why. You're almost caught up to the furthest that I've got in this game, solely because I just didn't know where I was going, and I wasn't just gonna keep walking around knowing nothing. Like, I could obviously get to the point of understanding that I needed to go back and talk to this guy after I got the windmill working, and figured out how to wake him up, because, I mean, it's called an alarm flute. Like, it's not rocket science. Sometimes it takes 16 credit cards to notice that you have a problem. Sometimes. You have done well. I will now teach you the magic of refresh. I guess that's it. He taught me how to refresh. Refresh. Me. Refresh. So I'm gonna guess that I need to go to that new opening. I mean, because I really don't know. All right, well, here we are. This is kind of where guy with 2 names says, don't trigger me with the rees. I have no reason to do that to you. All right, so you're gonna be like that, huh? Why? Why aren't you dying? It sounds like I'm hitting metal. Wait, do I need to learn how to refresh? Because my life is down pretty low and I'm not trying to die this early on. Get out of here. They're everywhere. All right, so how do I refresh? Magic, refresh. Nice. All right. So do I have to go back and... Save scum. I don't think that's what I was doing. I don't understand why it's not killing any of these things. Like... You're poisoned? Why am I toxic? Why am I toxic? Great. So I'm just losing life. I'm never gonna make it anywhere. Ugh, just get on out of Dodge. Learn how to refresh, refresh, refresh. Your magic power is too low. Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? P5 phone has got to save me. You need to level up to kill it. At least level 4, I think. Poison won't kill you, by the way. No, but just walking into things will. So, I gotta be level 4 to kill it. Oh, so do I level up by killing more of these guys out here? Yeah, if you're too low level, some of the enemies you can't kill. Okay. That makes sense, because when I was saying that I was about to approach the part that I hadn't been past, it was past that. Like, I had got further than that before, but not now. Like, oh, come on, man. Just keep running into things like a doofus. So I really just need to... I really just need to kill some more enemies. What happened? I hit it. I was right there. Obviously, the game developers don't know what they're doing. They've lost their way. I don't believe that there's anything in this town for me to do that has to do with me leveling up. Have you ever beat this game before, P5 Come on, Tony the Tiger. We're gonna do something great. So I just leveled up to level 2. That's fair enough, right? Let's see if I can kill anything in here. Alright, now we can kill something in here. Great. Good call, Fifipona. I feel like there's gonna be something right there. Rude. So touchy. Right about now, somebody comes in and they're like, "This isn't Tiger-Heli." I've had a bad habit here lately of doing stuff like this where I'll be playing the game, and then all of a sudden I decide that I'm gonna throw in another one instead. I can add it on later on. It's just while I'm playing it, it's kind of hard to be like, yeah, we're playing Crystalis now, so sorry that you were expecting some top-down shooter, and now we're playing the JRPG. Let's go this way. Ah! What did it say I got? Ninja boots? Alright. Warp boots. Now using warp boots. Warping where? Exactly. Leaf. If you install Streamlabs, Stream Elements, I think that they would let you change the title of the stream with a command. Okay, that's fair enough, though. Like, that would be nice to be able to do, especially whenever I keep changing games. And I have the intentions, once I really start doing this streaming more often, to be able to switch out games all the time. That's why, thank you, Captain Lego Man, for making those transition screens. That's exactly why I have them, though, is so I can switch out games. What the crap? Did I use my boots? No. And what I would like to know is, when I use them, are they gone? Yeah, they're gone. Okay, so I screwed up. That's kind of how that happens in this game. Is I screwed up and I used something too soon, so I'm gonna pay the price. Let's see, antidote. I guess I should carry that. So now I have an antidote as well. I mean, because I got poisoned earlier, so. But P5 says that it doesn't kill me, but did you visit the Elder's house yet? Yeah. Your magic power is too low. Well, where do I get magic from? Please be careful. Our destiny is in your hands. Alright. But where do I get the magic? What was this rabbit doing in here? Q. What is that? You can rest at an inn. And that's how I get my magic back, P5? Well, I didn't mean to push that. I need to turn that off. You cannot drop. I just don't. There. I didn't want to drop it. I just didn't want it selected anymore. It's gonna charge me $16 to take a little nap. How do you feel today? Please come again. Alright, let's go back up north again, I guess, since I'm an idiot and I warped on accident. Great. Now there's gonna be, this is how you don't play Crystalis made on me. Just what I needed. P5 Pona says, I tend to power level here to about 5. That may be more than necessary. Okay, I appreciate the heads up though. Because I mean, I'm still a 2. Excellent. Oh, 7. Take it easy, Retro. Hope to catch you the next stream. Thanks, guy with 2 names. Appreciate you stopping by, buddy. Well, that would have been nice if my power sword would have worked there. Yeah, I kind of put this in to see, like, if there was interest in this. I forgot that you had said that you really like this, Fifona, and sometimes people will tell me that they like certain games, and I forget exactly who says it. So I'm really glad that you happen to be here to see, because I've been interested in the game. I've just never put in enough time into it. Now have Ball of Wind. Hey, stop. There's bats in my hair. And I was already up there, right? Oh, so now I can break walls though. Not unless I die before I ever get there. Dude, these bats suck. Like, I need like a boomerang or something. Alright, so... I wasn't trying to drop it. I'm trying to go back. Nice. You now have antidote. That's all that was there? Excellent. You now have medical herb. Hey, at least we're finding some stuff. Listen, you bat. I don't like bats in any game that I've ever played in. Ever. Bats are not my friend. Did I go this way? Didn't need to go that way. Thank you, Fifona, also for all your help here too. Poisoned? Again? My body returns to normal. Alright, this is where I need to be. He like sucked me in, I swear. So what don't I have now? All of the stuff that I had before. Well, I am definitely going to come back to this. I want to give this a real playthrough. I want to dedicate some time to it and be able to play it. I really appreciate you, Fi Fona, and all your help. When I do play this, I will be sending you a message. I'll DM you so you know to come help me. You can hold my hand through this troubling time of Crystalis, and we'll all have a great time. I would love to see how far we can get into this game, and I would love to know how long this game is, because I don't think that I've ever even got as far as I just did right there. So I really appreciate you, Fi Fona. Thanks, Guy with 2 names, JG Winnell, everybody that stopped by. Hope you have a great night. For Retro's sake here, have a great day.